So I'm 27 and my girlfriend's 28, and we both live in LA, where the home prices are just insane. And moving outside of LA is not really an option for both of our jobs. So the main question I have is, how is it possible for somebody to buy a house or buy property to get started in the financial game of owning real estate at like the beginning stages? You know what I mean? Because I think the big thing for a lot of people is they look at the price tag and they're like, how the hell am I ever going to afford that? Like, what's the process? What's the first steps? Like,
so getting started in real estate takes money. So it's a money-driven business. And the question is, what if I'm under 30, my career is just starting, I don't have a lot of money, but I want to start, either I want to buy a house or I want to have an investment property. How do I move forward? And the answer is, you either borrow money from family or friends, or you start investigating what I'll call fringe areas of Los Angeles. So if you take a look 10 years back, fringe areas would include, maybe even 20 years now, Los Feliz or Silver Lake or Echo Park, or there's so many areas that were considered fringe that have gone through the gentrification process that are now beautiful.
Yeah.
So your challenge is to find an area that's livable to you, that you can actually afford to buy in. And there are plenty of places that are, again, they're not in LA proper, but you might be able to find places downtown or on the fringe of downtown that are actually affordable for most dual income homes.
Okay. So, but...
Because I think the biggest challenge for you is the down payment, because you have the payment to pay for the monthly in a mortgage, but the down payment is probably the challenge to save up that money.
Yeah,
that's actually a great point. Rent is typically more than a mortgage.
Yeah, I know, and that's why it's like I feel like I'm throwing away money.
Correct.
Like $2,000 to $3,000 a month that could be going towards
So what you need to investigate is really, where you get the initial deposit of 10, 15, 20% down for, like, let's say a $300,000 condo or a studio, and go from there. Or you really start with kind of an investment.
Say like a condo or studio to buy first.
Yeah, baby steps.
You have to start somewhere.
Yeah, baby steps. Everything baby step in life, and you're young enough that you have many baby steps. So, but the baby step here, the good thing about, so yes, prices are super high in Los Angeles, but in the same time they go up super fast as well. So the baby step is not, a decade. You'd be talking about 3 to 5 year minimum investment initially, and then you kind of move to the next step. So I would say yes, first you're probably gonna buy a $300,000-$400,000 studio or a condo. You put down 10-15%, that would be $30,000 to $60,000, which you kind of need to come up with, maybe friends and family, or save up some sort of money.
That sounds way easier than the $200,000.
Oh yeah, nobody just shows up with, not nobody, but what I'm saying is to save $200,000, you need to make really good money day one out of college.
Or just come in, make something and get paid a big chunk of money.
Yeah, but you can wait for your lifetime for that. Yeah. So no, baby steps. But the baby steps are good because things change so fast here, and it could turn out to be, for instance, in the last, since the crisis happened, the market is just keep going up.
Yeah.
So everybody who bought in 2011, they almost doubled their money.
So on that note, do you think that it being at the peak or the high part, how it's been going up, like, would it be smart for somebody like me to wait until it goes down?
So here, the answer to that question is tough.
Because I could wait forever, right?
You could. Well, the market will correct. So it's a guarantee the market will correct. The question is when. So let's do really simple math. Let's say the market takes 3 more years to correct. And over the next 3 years, it goes up by 20%. Well, you've been out of the market's now 20% higher. You could have gotten into the market today, and the correction will probably be 15 to 20%. So it really is today's number. But we're totally guessing. Again, the correction could be before the end of 2017, 2018 or 2019. Everyone you talk to expects there to be a correction.
Yeah.
There's no way to even venture guess what it will be. But again, if you do the math on it, it probably equals that waiting is...
If you have the wherewithal and the money and the qualification to purchase something, you know, a starter condo or studio, whatever it is, where you can actually perhaps live, and it's not gonna be, you know, a crazy bad investment for your lifestyle. I think you should do it, and you should not, you know, analyze what's happening, you know, in a year or 2 or 3 years, or I should have done it 5 years ago, whatever it is. Just do it.
Like it's like start with what you have. Kind of.
Right.
Exactly.
And there's two things that we think help people towards this. One we call the Starbucks phenomenon, and the other one is the Porsche phenomenon. Let's talk about the Starbucks phenomenon first. The average millennial and the average person in Los Angeles is probably spending $5 to $10 a day on coffee, on lattes.
Or kombucha.
Or whatever that was, yeah. There's coffee being purchased and food being purchased that if one wanted to, they could alter how they live, and that money could go towards housing. And it ends up being thousands and thousands of dollars per year that is going towards
dumb stuff.
Dumb, crazy food that you know, 20 years ago, people didn't buy Starbucks all day long. And again, there are ways to get your caffeine fix for a lot less money and probably higher quality. So that's part one. The other thing that's happened in real estate is you need to kind of think about it more. Can I afford the monthly payment, and not can I afford the $400,000? And that's kind of the idea of buying an expensive sports car. The average person doesn't have $150,000 to buy a Porsche or whatever kind of car they want to buy.
Range Rover,
yeah. They have enough money where they say, oh, I can afford $900 a month. So when you think of it that way, you already know what you can afford for rent. So you already have an idea what is comfortable with your current income, where you're not stressed out, that you can afford to spend per month. So that's your number that you're trying to hit. You're trying to say, I don't really care what it costs, I care that I can afford it.
Yeah.
A financial planner would say, no. You need to always know what you're spending, it doesn't make any sense to pay an overinflated price. I don't necessarily agree. I believe all the benefits are there in ownership. There's tax benefits, there's long-term benefits, and historically, and if history repeats, which it will, we're going to have a correction, and the market will go higher in the long run than we are today.
It'll just keep going.
Yeah,
There'll be
it's
a way.
cycle.
It's a cycle, and the wave will come up with a higher crest than we are today. So in the long run, which could be 10 years, you come out ahead.
Okay.
But
So
overall, I think you need to own real estate to be wealthy.
So on that, so let's say that I bought something for $300,000 to $400,000, like a condo or something like that. How long would I have to live there until I could, like, one, potentially make money? I know that's, it's not an exact answer, but two, like, move up.
Yeah, minimum 5 to 10 years.
5 to 10 years in a condo. I would hate myself.
Why?
But why?
Because
You already.
I like a yard. Like, I want to park somewhere. Like, I want to.
You can always rent it out.
But Michael, this is
that's true.
ownership. You can
no.
always rent it out.
You can always rent it, but it's back to prioritization. So the goal is: do I keep renting, where I have my yard and I have the things I want, but I have no ownership and no possibility to build equity?
Yeah.
Or do I take a step back and say my priority is I want the long-term benefit of equity coming in my pocket, and there's no quicker or better way to make money in Los Angeles than real estate.
So you're saying take a macro, long-term approach.
It's a great way to say it.
Instead of like a 1 to 2 year, 3 year thing.
The people who make money in real estate are the ones who say, I'm going to start biting off chunks of the elephant, and the elephant being the big real estate beast.
Yeah.
And I'm going to own it. And then as my income changes, and it should as you get older, you have more income, you say, you know what, it's time for property number 2, and you don't sell it. Your goal should be to have multiple real estate assets. So you keep the property, the condo, which you are predisposed to hating, knowing that long-term that's a rental unit.
Yeah.
So you make sure that you stretch to get a property that's by university, that's somewhere that will be easy to rent it.
Yeah.
And that way, when it comes time to dispose of the property, you're not selling it, you're just changing it from your primary residence to an income property where you generate income off of it. Yeah. And everything about that property now becomes a tax benefit to you. So again,
and a revenue stream.
And a revenue stream, right. And if you get it potentially right, you get it at the right time, the right location, the right space, it could be a positive cash flow item for you.
Okay.
Only time will tell.
Now, what if I wanted to not do the condo thing?
So if you want a house,
if I wanted a house that was in the, I mean, everything in LA is 6 to $1 million now for like even the little like 2-bedroom homes, whatever.
Well, okay, so they're generalizing. When we say LA, what do we mean by LA? There are parts of LA that are going through, I think, will have significant change as the football stadiums go in, as areas that have been kind of flat quite a bit, as better transportation comes in. I think we'll start seeing appreciation of values in areas near Lawndale, Compton,
Gardena. For instance, right now we have has a listing for 500,000. It's a 2-bedroom, 2 baths.
Yeah.
So this may not be the place.
It may not be the place you want, but that's the thing that's what's really challenging and that's what's hard. But then you need to look at the big picture.
Well, so
can you commute from Gardena to where you want to be, or you just want to own something and you can still own it and renting it out?
Yeah.
As long as it makes sense and it covers the cost.
But the idea is places like Inglewood, Gardena, Lawndale, Hawthorne, and Hawthorne has already started to have higher values. Mm-hmm. The idea is, do you believe that their income will go up by the sports teams and all the people coming in to spend money for every game, and that if there's better transportation throughout Los Angeles, it really means that you can live almost anywhere within an hour and a half of LA, and public transportation will take you where you want to go.
Or Elon Musk's boring tunnel will take you there.
Yeah. So if the tunnel's put in, well, that's the point. The point is that LA now has, LA's public transportation was killed off, 50 years ago, 100 years ago, and now it's coming back to life again, which really means that you're not limited because the freeway's where you can live.
Yeah.
You can use public transportation and you can live within an hour and a half of where you want to work and use that time on public transportation or the metro to get to work and work. Yeah, it's actually kind of cool.
Well, so I think the scariest thing is being that whole, like, you're locked into like the 30-year mortgage.
Yeah, that's called commitment.
I know, it's scary as for millennials because like I know that like if my girlfriend got a job offer to New York, we'd be like, hell yeah, let's go, because we have no ties. And to me, there's like a benefit to that. I don't know if there's a benefit to...
Yeah, but then your life is gonna be just a chase. I mean, you can't.
No, but you rent it. You always realize...
You can always rent it, that's the thing.
Yeah,
you can always sell it, and you can always rent it.
Yeah.
So, and maybe selling it, you need to wait another year, so it doesn't matter, but it's as flexible as your life, I think it is, and that's what's, because in Los Angeles and in the big metropolitan cities, it's super fast. The turnaround is so fast, and there's always a desire.
Yeah. So.
And then the danger is here are the odds. The odds are almost 100% when you guys decide to buy a house together. Mm-hmm. That your girlfriend will get a job offer in New York.
Yeah.
That's almost guaranteed because you've kind of set that to happen.
Yeah.
So that means in your purchase plan, you need to make sure whatever you purchase is rentable. Mm-hmm. And the fear is gone.
Yeah.
And maybe the first step is to get a dog.
Yeah.
Because you already have commitment to each other, but when you have commitment to something that's hard to get rid of, like a pet,
that's true.
It starts to kind of build who you are and realize, okay, we'll work it out.
But our landlord won't let us get a dog. So.
Well, that's where you are. Okay, that's where you are now.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying there's, commitment.
But that's the mindset. I think it's all about the mindset and the commitment. And I think you guys are just afraid of that.
That's the millennial mindset, is like, I want to go to like travel Europe for a month. Like, what do I do about this house?
Okay, so you make sure where you buy is open for Airbnb. No.
Airbnb. It's super easy.
Yeah,
Airbnb. It's like, how hard? Oh my God, your guys are much easier. Oh.
So there's a company in the wait a minute. There's a company in the Bay Area that will pay your 10% down on a property. If for 3 years you allow them to place in one of your bedrooms an Airbnb tenant.
Oh my gosh.
So on one hand, to me that sounds invasive and horrible, but their logic is we're giving you 10% down.
We're helping you buy a house.
We're helping you buy a house, and all you have to do is 3 years allow us to do it.
Yeah.
And hope the city doesn't change the rules.
And it's perfect for those people, especially if you live in New York or Los Angeles, that you have a job, that you travel nonstop, like honestly, sales job, Monday through Friday to travel. And there are all kinds of ways. It's just really, you need to put your mindset that, look, I need to own real estate and I should own it sooner than later. Mm-hmm. And whether it is a condo or a house, just deal with it. Mm-hmm. Life is gonna evolve, and your life is gonna evolve to that situation, but you need to just kind of first, the major thing is to have the down payment, some sort of down payment, 10% down, 15% down.
Yeah.
Meaning you need to go back to your mama and
yeah,
daddy.
so you guys are saying the family is the best.
The number one source of down payment money is someone in the family. Whether it's the rich uncle, rich brother, mom and dad, grandma.
But think about it, it's your side, it's her side. I'm sure you guys can put together, beg and borrow.
Yeah.
Each family member, 20K. 20K is not that much anymore.
No.
So.
No, but it's not.
And you right away have 60,000, so you can buy something in the $400,000 range easy.
Yeah.
And you can buy.
But let's clarify something.
Sorry.
If you were thinking of doing this, you don't want to
You
go.
must use peer-to-peer brokers.
No. The point is, when you start collecting money, you need to have a long-term plan for the purchase, and that purchase it means you can't just have money show up in your bank account. Money needs to be seasoned as your money. So if grandma, for example,
these are technical
they're not though.
parts of the
If
process.
grandma has said she's going to help you out, say, Grandma, can we move the money now?
Mm-hmm.
Because then it shows up as your money. If you decide to buy a home, it needs to season for usually 2 to 3 months before a bank will even look at it.
Yeah.
Because they want to know where it came from.
But that's a technical part of the process.
It is.
So you need to talk to a lender. You need to see
It's
actually.
not an overnight thing.
Yeah.
Is what you guys are
But
saying.
first you need to talk to a lender. You're gonna see, how much you guys make on paper because that's where they're gonna have the qualification. Once you have a qualification how much you can afford per month, then you kind of go back. Okay, this is how much it's gonna be by down payment.
Yeah.
Once you have the down payment, then you go to your family and kind of do a proposal that this is the plan. This is how much we can afford. This is roughly what we can buy for this money, and I need this money from you guys.
Yeah.
And then you kind of go out and look at properties. So first you need to get the qualification. You need to have good credit scores.
For somebody that doesn't
Stuff
even
like
like
that.
calling his doctor, this sounds like a lot for me.
Well, it is, and it's a little bit painful, but it comes back to you are a smart enough person to realize that if you want to build wealth, you have to do it.
Yeah.
So that's the choice. If you have that desire, you make it happen. But again, technology is moving quickly, transportation is moving quickly. There's stories about having transportation between here and San Francisco that will happen in 2 hours, which really means you could almost live in Los Angeles and take a train to work each day in what would be an LA commute.
Yeah.
So if that comes to fruition over the next 15 years, that's an amazing opportunity.
I mean, I think right now downtown because of the subway.
And there's all that new construction.
Yeah, so I think around downtown and in downtown, I know it's a condo and you're not a fan of condos, but for a millennial who works in Hollywood or in the that biz, I think it's not a bad spot to kind of start.
Yeah.
So we have had homes with lawns and yards and without. Without is much better.
Well, yes, but I have lived in a loft in downtown, and I hated that I just had nowhere to go to clear my mind, or nowhere to. I couldn't go out on the street. Like there was no grass and there's no backyard. Like there's no.
I understand. Yeah.
Especially because I work from home a lot, and a lot of millennials do. They work from their computers. That's when you get them going to coffee shops and things like that.
Yeah, that's.
But that means you as a human being need to find out where's your Zen spot.
Yeah.
So if you're downtown, my Zen spot, I would probably end up going to Runyon Canyon a lot. Maybe or whatever. I would make sure I had an outdoor time of day. That was away from my space. That's where I would go for relaxing.
Yeah.
But I'm sure around downtown or in the valley like Burbank, Glendale. There are all kinds of new construction and
Glendale's growing.
And so like. Yeah, a little bit of outskirts, but still.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Cool. Well, thank you for answering my questions.